Hello, my name is Christopher. The goal of this video is to enable you to evaluate whether my background can help you. I've worked in hospitality for more years than I care to think of, predominantly 5-star London UK hotels and in Australia. I feel qualified to say I have acquired strong customer service skills. Let me explain. I've organised and overseen corporate and social event projects, for example the first Hot One Cup tennis tournament, the first World Cup dinner dance. Both events were televised and catered for thousands. I know you are asking yourself, how does that experience have any relevance to business intelligence? That's a very good question. Events are projects. Hospitality requires teamwork, and above all, if an event is to be a success, the outcome objectives for the event needs to be clearly understood by all. If individuals or teams have their own agenda, it's inevitable things will go wrong. Events, more often than not, necessitate an ability to build relationships with multiple teams within the organisation and teams of people working for other organisations. Consequently, relationships need to be built quickly. Anyone who has worked with people will appreciate building a coalition of individuals all focused upon delivering the client desired outcome is a very significant challenge. The first objective for success has to be to agree what the outcome for the event will be. Often this requires an ability to help customers define their ambitions for their event. You will be surprised how often the customer's desires are somewhat blurred in their own minds. The more people involved in the decision process, the more complex it is to articulate objectives. It's important to spend as much time as necessary to define the required outcome. The reason being, it's nearly always harder to undo a process once initiated. You may be thinking, how or why are those skills relevant to business dashboard development? Defining a business dashboard that delivers for the client requires the very skills I acquired while working in the hospitality industry. The first step is to build the relationship. The next stage is to define the outcome. This phase is probably the hardest step. It requires a systematic attention to detail. While it's simple to suggest this is the easiest step, I can tell you from experience it's often the most challenging. The reason it tends to be an iterative process. In other words, as it becomes ever more clear to all, as requirements and solutions are teased out and partly understood, the hidden obstacles tend to be revealed. Alternatively, fast-changing business environmental conditions require a fundamental rethink. In management talk, a wicked problem. Wicked problems are challenging. Why? People tend to have different thoughts as to what the true issues are. What generally adds to the pressure is the client. Quite rightly, the client wants to see measurable progress. When it appears, at least to the client, very little is happening, frustration can lead to the blame game. Invariably, personality clashes arise and inevitably project stalemate results. Well, while I cannot promise such issues won't arise, should you choose to instruct me, I can tell you I generally recognise such tensions are developing usually well before they become critical. An example: several departments or individuals hold the data and they are less than keen to share their information with others, even if they are working for the same organisation. After all, information is power. A further obstacle: the data is held on numerous spreadsheets, or data is gathered by proprietary software databases with restricted access. Even when you can gather the data, there are many hurdles to overcome, such as time to access computer hardware and software, and that's before you turn your data into information you can usefully apply. So how do I approach these sorts of issues? When I do detect such problems, I apply my people skills to mitigate or hopefully resolve such frictions before moving on. Failure to acknowledge developing tensions, in my experience, tends to result in mediocre outcome for the client at best. So how do I keep working towards a fabulous outcome for my client? Well, let me explain. Everything I do I believe in challenging the status quo. I believe in thinking differently. And that means challenging individuals to think about their needs and how that fits within the requirements of the organisation. I generally achieve this by making simple, compelling, beautifully designed, user-friendly business reports that generally benefits them. Once problematical individuals are empowered to visualise the benefits, they are generally more than willing to fully cooperate with the required organisational changes. Why did I move from hospitality industry into IT? My transition began when I completed my Open University Masters in Business Administration. CloudHound started as a solution for small business owners who needed IT support. There was a demand for a personalised, easy-to-use support solutions at a reasonable price with a market that lacked options. To this day, the mission remains on fulfilling the needs of customers. Listening to users provides feedback to guide development. For example, over the years, IT has experienced drastic transitions. The latest transition has been cloud services. This model of computing provides a more consistent and stable experience for users. At this point, the goal has been set to help customers to intelligently automate data gathering and present insights that users can usefully apply. To achieve this, I use software tools previously only available to large organisations, now available to SMEs at a very affordable rate, to help business owners and managers to better manage the challenges of managing their business. Ultimately, CloudHound's goal is to help small business owners to achieve their objectives. If you want to transform your data into meaningful information, but you're busy and you don't have the time to acquire the knowledge and skills, you're in the right place. Hopefully, having watched the video, you now feel that you understand me at least a little better. Just as importantly, you feel more inclined to reach out and contact me. No hard sell. I'd rather walk away from a prospective contract than work with a client who is somewhat skeptical as to the benefits. You could send me an email. If you prefer via the website, you can use the contact form. Even if you feel dashboards aren't for you right now, do keep me in mind should your needs change. I do understand dashboards aren't for every organisation, but for those who want to grow in today's world, understanding the data is an increasingly important skill for business owners and managers alike. Thank you for watching this video and have a fabulous day.